Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to your reading. I want to start by saying something that I think you've needed to hear for a long time, maybe your whole life, and Spirit is making it very clear that today is the day you hear it properly. You are not too much. You are not too strange. You are not too different, too ahead of your time, too unconventional, too radical, too visionary, too anything. You are exactly what you were designed to be. And what you were designed to be is unlike anyone else on this planet. That is not a flaw, Aquarius. That is your entire point. This reading is about the rebellion that is alive in you right now, the breaking of conventions that no longer fit, the emergence of a path that looks nothing like what anyone expected for you, maybe including yourself. And Spirit wants you to understand something very clearly before we even pull the first card. The fact that your path looks different from everyone else's is not a sign that you're lost. It's a sign that you're found. We're going to look at what's breaking open for you right now, what you're being released from, where your unique path is actually leading, and why the rebellion you feel in your bones is not restlessness without purpose, but vision without a template. Because Aquarius, you're not following a path, you're making one. Stay with me. This is going to be one of those readings you come back to. All right, let's pull these cards and see what Spirit is showing us. The Tower card, right out of the gate. Aquarius and the Tower. And honestly, given everything this reading is about, I couldn't have asked for a more perfect opening card. Because the Tower is precisely the energy of breaking down what no longer stands, of structures that were built on foundations that weren't authentic, of the lightning bolt of truth hitting the edifice of convention and revealing what was always unstable beneath the surface. For you, Aquarius, the tower is not something happening to you. In many ways, you are the tower. You are the lightning bolt. You are the force that reveals when things aren't working, when systems are corrupt, when the way things have always been done is not the way they need to be done. This is your Aquarian gift, and it is also, I know, sometimes your burden. Because when you are the one who sees what others can't see yet, when you are the one who questions what others accept without question, it can feel incredibly lonely. It can feel like you're the problem when actually you're pointing at the problem. Spirit is validating that right now, Aquarius. What you see is real. What you feel needs to change actually needs to change. The tower is saying that something in your life or something in the world around you is breaking open right now, and that breaking is necessary, and you are part of why it's happening. Let me pull another card. Tell me more. The star. And here we have the star immediately following the tower, which, as I mentioned in the Scorpio reading, is exactly the sequence in the major arcana: tower, then star, destruction of what was false, then the light of what is true. And for Aquarius, this sequence is deeply personal. The star is your ruling card in many traditions. Aquarius is the water bearer, and the star shows a figure pouring water, giving freely, nourishing what needs to grow. This is your highest expression, Aquarius. Not just the rebel who breaks things, but the visionary who, after the breaking, pours the new water, offers the new possibility, carries the future in their hands, and distributes it generously to a world that is thirsty for exactly what you carry. The star, after the tower, tells me that what's breaking down in your life right now is making room for something genuinely luminous, something that reflects who you actually are rather than who you were expected to be. Let me pull one more card for this opening energy. The Magician. Oh, yes, Aquarius. The Magician in your opening energy alongside the Tower and the Star is extraordinary. The Magician stands before his table with all four elements represented: the wand, the cup, the sword, the pentacle. One hand raised toward the sky, one pointed toward the earth. As above, so below, the bridge between the divine vision and the material manifestation. This is the card of having all the tools you need and knowing how to use them. Spirit is saying to you right now that you have everything required to build the path that is uniquely yours. The rebellion is not just about breaking from convention. The magician says it's also about creating. You have the vision and you have the tools and you have the ability to bring something genuinely new into form. The unique path that is emerging isn't just a reaction against what didn't work. It's a creation, your creation. Let me look at the recent past. Now, what's been happening for you, Aquarius? What brought you to this moment of rebellion and emergence? Pulling for the recent past. Let me see what's been in your field. The Six of Swords. So recently, Aquarius, you've been in a crossing. Moving away from something, a situation, an environment, a way of being that was no longer right for you. The Six of Swords shows the quiet, steady movement away from troubled water towards something calmer and more aligned. And for many of you, this has been a gradual process rather than a dramatic one. A slow, quiet turning away from what wasn't working, a careful navigation out of circumstances that were constraining you. Some of you literally moved, changed jobs, ended relationships, left communities. Others of you made internal shifts that were just as significant, a decision to stop conforming in a certain area, a choice to stop shrinking yourself to fit a space that was too small. Either way, you've been in a crossing and you are not done crossing yet, but you are further from the troubled shore than you were. Let me pull another card for the recent past. What else was present? The Five of Wands. Yes. So recently, there's also been conflict, friction, competing forces, a sense of everyone pulling in different directions and nothing quite cohering. The Five of Wands is the card of the chaotic scrum, where everyone is waving their wand, but nobody is coordinating. And for Aquarius, in the recent past, I'm seeing that this may have involved being in environments or groups where your ideas, your perspective, your unconventional approach was met with resistance or disagreement. Maybe you were the one in the room with the different idea and everyone pushed back. Maybe you were trying to collaborate with people who couldn't quite get on your wavelength. Maybe the conflict was internal, a war between the part of you that wants to fit in and the part of you that knows you can't, not without losing something essential. The Five of Wands is exhausting, Aquarius. And I want to acknowledge that the friction of being different, of consistently being the one with the perspective others aren't ready for, takes a real toll. You've been carrying that recently, and Spirit sees it. One more card for the recent past. The Four of Pentacles. Interesting. So, alongside the friction and the crossing, there's also been a period of holding on. The Four of Pentacles shows a figure clutching their coins tightly, one on their head, one under each foot, one held to their chest. This is the energy of security through control, of holding what you have very tightly because the external world feels uncertain. And for Aquarius, in the recent past, this might have looked like staying in situations longer than was ideal because the security felt necessary, or holding back parts of yourself, your real vision, your unconventional ideas, because releasing them felt too risky. Spirit is showing me this card in the past tense. The holding on is loosening. The grip is releasing, and the energy that has been clutched tightly is beginning to flow again. All right, let me look at the incoming energy now. What's arriving for you, Aquarius? What's the immediate shift that's happening? Pulling for the incoming energy. Let me see what's showing up in the next 1 to 2 weeks. The Ace of Swords also speaks to truth being spoken, to communication that cuts through pretense, to saying the real thing out loud rather than the polite or expected thing. For some of you, there's a conversation coming where you finally say what you actually think. And that conversation, however it lands, is going to change things. Let me pull another card. What else is arriving? The Seven of Wands. Okay, so the Seven of Wands is the card of the person standing on higher ground, wand raised, defending their position against those below who are challenging them. This is the card of the one who has gotten somewhere, who has elevated themselves, who has a perspective and a position that others are questioning, and they are holding their ground. For you, Aquarius, the Seven of Wands in the incoming energy tells me that you are going to need to defend your vision, your unconventional path, your rebellion against whatever convention you're breaking from. People are going to question it. Maybe they already are. And Spirit is saying, hold your ground, Aquarius. You are on higher ground here. Your perspective is not wrong just because it's different. Your path is not invalid just because it doesn't follow the template. When the pushback comes, and it may already be coming, you have every right and every reason to plant your feet and hold your position. One more card for the incoming energy. What else wants to come through? The Page of Swords. Yes, the Page of Swords is the curious, alert, quick-minded energy of someone who is gathering information, speaking their truth, asking the sharp questions, ready to cut through any pretense or illusion. This page arrives in your incoming energy as the part of you that is waking up intellectually and communicatively to a new level of clarity and boldness. The Page of Swords speaks up. The Page of Swords asks the uncomfortable question in the room. The Page of Swords refuses to pretend they don't see what they see. Spirit is activating this energy in you, Aquarius. The rebel's voice is getting clearer, and the willingness to use it is growing. If any of this is resonating with you so far, drop something in the comments. Tell me which card is speaking to you. I genuinely love hearing from you, and it helps more Aquarians find this message. All right, let me go into the deep dive now. I want to explore specifically what the rebellion is about for you, Aquarius. What exactly are you breaking from, and what is emerging on the other side of that breaking? Pulling several cards for this deep exploration. The Hierophant reversed. Oh, this is so telling, Aquarius. So deeply telling. The Hierophant upright is the card of tradition, of established institutions, of the accepted way of doing things. And here it is, reversed. In the deep dive of your rebellion reading, reversed, the Hierophant says everything that the upright Hierophant represents is exactly what you are breaking free from. The institutions, the traditions, the consensus reality, the belief that there is one correct way to live, to work, to love, to create, to contribute. Spirit is being very specific here. The rebellion that is alive in you, Aquarius, is not simply a personality trait or a preference for being different. It's a genuine and necessary response to systems and structures and norms that are not serving the highest good. You see through them. You always have. And the Hierophant reversed is Spirit's confirmation that you're seeing is accurate. For some of you, this is about conventional career paths that you're refusing to follow because, they would kill something essential in you. For others, it's about relationship structures, family expectations, social norms around how you should look, act, identify, present. For others, it's about larger systems, political, social, institutional, that you are actively working to disrupt or reform. Whatever your specific rebellion looks like, Aquarius, the Hierophant reversed is Spirit saying you are right to question this. Keep questioning. Let me pull another card here. What else is part of this deeper picture? The Knight of Cups. Now, this is an interesting card to show up in Aquarius Rebellion reading, and I want to sit with it because Spirit doesn't send cards without reason. The Knight of Cups is the romantic, idealistic, emotionally driven pursuer, the one who moves toward what they love, toward what inspires them, toward what calls to their heart. And here, in the middle of your rebellion and your unique path emerging, this knight is showing up. Spirit is telling me that underneath the intellectual rebellion, underneath the breaking of convention and the questioning of systems, there is a heart, a deeply feeling, genuinely loving, surprisingly tender heart. And the unique path that is emerging for you, Aquarius, has your heart in it more than you might let people see. You are not only a rebel, you are a rebel in service of something you love, in service of a vision that genuinely moves you. And the Knight of Cups is asking you to let that be visible. Not just the sharp sword of your intellect, not just the lightning bolt of your disruption, but also the cup you're carrying, the love you have for the future you're trying to create. Let me pull another card. Tell me more about what's emerging. The Three of Pentacles. Yes, the Three of Pentacles is the card of collaboration, of the master craftsperson working alongside others, of a vision being built by people with different skills who are aligned around a common purpose. This card in your reading, Aquarius, tells me something very important about the unique path that is emerging. It is not a solitary path. I know that might surprise some of you because Aquarius can lean toward independence, toward doing things their own way without needing others to understand or validate. But the Three of Pentacles is saying that what you're building, the vision that is emerging from your rebellion, is too large for one person. And the right collaborators are being aligned around you. People who get it, people who see what you see, people who have different skills than you, but are moving toward the same revolutionary vision. Your tribe is out there, Aquarius, and they are finding you. One more card for this deep dive. Let me see what else Spirit wants to reveal. The High Priestess. Aquarius, the High Priestess showing up here in the depth of your reading is asking you something very important. She sits between her two pillars, the known and the unknown, and she holds her scroll quietly. She doesn't perform her wisdom. She doesn't broadcast it. She holds it in the still, deep place within herself, and she allows it to be accessed by those who are truly ready to receive it. The High Priestess is asking you, Aquarius, in the midst of all your rebellion and your breaking of convention and your bold claiming of your unique path, to also cultivate stillness, to also listen, to also access the deeper, quieter wisdom that lives beneath your brilliant and revolutionary mind. Your intellect is extraordinary, but your intuition, when you trust it, is even more extraordinary. And the high priestess is asking you to let your rebellion be guided not only by what you think, but by what you deeply know. Let me now look at what to watch for. What does Spirit want you to be aware of as you walk this unconventional path? Pulling for the obstacles and warnings. What should Aquarius be mindful of? The Five of Cups. Spirit is showing me the risk of bitterness, Aquarius, of letting the grief about how things have been, about the systems that failed, about the people who didn't understand, about the conventions that constrained you, of letting that legitimate grief curdle into a rigidity of its own. The Five of Cups warns against staying so focused on what was lost or what was wrong that you miss what is present and possible. The rebel who only defines themselves by what they are against eventually runs out of fuel. The vision that is only about breaking what exists eventually needs to articulate what it's building instead. Spirit is asking you to make sure your rebellion is generative, that it creates and offers and envisions, rather than only critiques and rejects. The cups that spilled were real, the grief is valid, and there are full cups waiting for you when you're ready to turn toward them. One more card for this section. The Two of Swords. Yes, Spirit is also showing me the risk of a standoff. The Two of Swords shows a figure blindfolded, holding two swords crossed over their heart, the water behind them still and vast. This is the card of the impasse, of the refusal to choose, of maintaining a defensive position so long that no movement becomes possible. And for Aquarius, the specific warning here is about a situation where you may be refusing to engage with something, to make a decision, to lower the swords and remove the blindfold, because the choice feels too difficult or the vulnerability of choosing feels too exposing. Spirit is saying that the impasse needs to be broken, Aquarius. The unique path cannot emerge from a position of crossed swords and a blindfold. At some point, you have to see what's there and make the choice. Here's your power in this. Your mind is one of the sharpest in the zodiac. When you decide to see clearly and choose decisively, the quality of the choice you make is extraordinary. The problem is never your ability to choose well. The problem is sometimes your resistance to choosing at all. Remove the blindfold, lower one sword, look at what's actually there. All right, let me pull for the longer term incoming energy now. The bigger picture of where this rebellion and this unique path are actually leading you. Pulling for the longer term picture. Let me see what's ahead. The World card. Aquarius, the World card in your longer term future. Let me tell you something. In the readings I've done over many years, the World in the longer term position is one of the most significant possible cards to receive, because the World is not the small version of success. The World is not the local version of arrival. The World is literally global in its scope. It is the complete expression of what this soul journey has been building toward. And for Aquarius, a sign that genuinely does think on a global scale, that genuinely does care about humanity as a whole, that genuinely does carry visions that have the capacity to affect not just their immediate world, but the wider world. The World card appearing in your longer term future is Spirit saying the scope of what you're building is exactly as large as your vision suggests. The path that emerges from your rebellion is not a small private path. It is a path that matters. It has impact beyond what you can currently see. The unique direction you're taking is one that the world actually needs someone to take, and you are the one taking it. Let me pull more cards for this bigger picture. The King of Swords. Yes, the King of Swords in your longer term reading shows me where the Aquarian rebellion arrives at its fullest expression. The king sits on his throne, sword upright, clear eyed, the birds flying behind him against the clear sky. This king has the sharpest mind, the most incisive clarity, the authority of someone who has mastered the realm of thought and truth and communication. He is respected not because he is powerful in a dominating sense, but because his clarity is undeniable. His integrity is unquestionable. His vision is simply, obviously correct. This is your longer term energy, Aquarius, the King of Swords, the version of you who has fully developed and expressed your extraordinary mind in service of your vision, who speaks with authority not borrowed from institutions, but earned through genuine knowledge and integrity, who holds a position that others recognize as both intellectually formidable and genuinely trustworthy. One more card for the bigger picture. The Six of Cups, Aquarius. The Six of Cups in your longer term picture brings a surprisingly tender note to all this revolutionary energy, and I love Spirit for including it. The Six of Cups is the card of coming back to joy, of the sweetness of genuine connection, of offering and receiving freely, of the innocent delight of sharing what you have with others. This card in your future tells me that the path you're on leads not only to impact and recognition and the full expression of your vision, it leads to joy, to genuine, uncomplicated, almost childlike joy in what you've built and who you've become. The rebel arrives at a place where they can rest for a moment and look at what they've created and feel genuinely happy about it, not just satisfied in an intellectual sense, actually, warmly, humanly happy. The Six of Cups promises you that, Aquarius, let me pull the final messages from Spirit now. Pulling for Spirit's messages. What do your guides want Aquarius to know right now? The Emperor. Your guides are offering you structure, Aquarius. And I want to say that carefully because I know the Emperor can feel like exactly the energy you're rebelling against. But Spirit is drawing a distinction here. The Emperor that your guides are sending is not the Emperor of rigid convention, of hierarchical control, of power over others. This is the Emperor of self mastery, of having a strong enough internal structure that your external freedom becomes genuinely productive. Your guides are saying that the rebellion is most effective when it's organized, when the vision has a spine, when the unconventional path has a real foundation under it. The Emperor asks you to build that foundation, not to constrain your freedom, but to give it something to launch from, a structure you create for yourself on your own terms in service of your vision. One more message from your guides. The Ace of Cups. Your guides are closing with an open heart, Aquarius, an invitation to receive. The Ace of Cups overflowing with the water of emotional abundance, of love flowing freely, of the capacity to both give and receive in full measure. Your guides want you to know that the path you're on, as unconventional as it looks, as lonely as it has sometimes felt, is a path that leads to deep connection, to genuine belonging. Not the belonging of fitting into a mold that wasn't made for you, but the belonging of finding the people, the community, the world that was made for exactly who you are. You are not meant to walk this path alone, Aquarius, and the people who are meant to walk it with you are being drawn to you by the very thing that makes you different. Your uniqueness is not what separates you from your tribe, it's what calls them to you. One final card. Your guides have one more specific thing to say. The Wheel of Fortune. And your guides close with the wheel turning in your favor, Aquarius. The cycle shifting, the timing aligning. Everything you've been building, questioning, breaking, creating, standing for, all of it is entering a new phase of momentum. The wheel doesn't wait for you to be ready, it turns. And right now, it is turning toward your highest good, toward the full expression of your unique vision, toward the world seeing what you carry and finally being ready to receive it. Your time, Aquarius, is not coming. It is here. Let me bring this reading home for you because it has been extraordinary from the very first card. The Tower said you are the lightning bolt. The Star said you are the water bearer of the new. The Magician said you have everything you need to create what you envision. The Hierophant reversed validated your rebellion against every convention that no longer serves the highest good. The Knight of Cups reminded you that your heart is in this. The Three of Pentacles showed your tribe finding you. The High Priestess asked you to trust your deeper knowing alongside your brilliant mind. The King of Swords showed your fullest intellectual authority arriving. The world said the scope of your vision is as large as you've always suspected. And the Wheel of Fortune confirmed that the timing is now. Aquarius, you were not built for the path that already exists. You were built to make the path. Every time you felt out of place, every time you've been the one who saw things differently, every time you've broken a convention that didn't fit, you weren't failing at belonging. You were succeeding at being yourself. The rebellion isn't the problem. The rebellion is the point. Your unique path is emerging right now, and it is exactly as extraordinary as you are. Trust it, walk it, and know that the world needs someone to walk it, that someone is you. If this reading moved you today, if it gave words to something you've been feeling in your bones, please drop a comment below. Say I am the rebellion or tell me what convention you're breaking free from. I want to know. If you know another Aquarius who needs to hear this, please share this reading with them. Sometimes the most radical act of love is reminding someone that their difference is their power. Sending you so much love and so much electricity, Aquarius. Break the mold, walk the path. The world is waiting for what only you can bring. I will see you in the next one. Take care of yourself.